Admiral Junho Park stood at the wide window of the observation deck. From here he could see the endless darkness of space, dotted with countless stars. The massive ship he commanded, the TSV Indomitable, moved silently through the void near the edge of human territory. Junho was 58 years old now. His black hair had streaks of gray and lines marked his face. These were not just from age, but from memories. Terrible memories of a war that had happened 50 years ago. He had been only 8 when the Craxus aliens attacked Earth without warning. He still remembered hiding in underground shelters with his family as the bombs fell. 5 billion people had died before the war ended. 3 human colony planets had been destroyed completely. But humanity had fought back. And humanity had won. The victory had shocked every alien species in the galaxy. No one had expected the humans to win. After the victory, Earth had sent a simple message to all alien civilizations. Attack Earth again and be annihilated. For 50 years, this warning had kept the peace. Most alien species now traded with humans. Earth even had observer status in the Galactic Confederation, the group of advanced species that governed most of the galaxy. Junho touched the cold glass of the window and sighed. Peace was good, but he never forgot the cost of that. "Peace! Admiral Park," a voice called from behind him. Junho turned to see Hana Kim, his chief intelligence officer. She was 40, with short black hair and serious eyes. She always brought reports exactly on time, and today was no different. "The weekly intelligence report, sir," she said, handing him a data tablet. "Anything unusual?" Junho asked, taking the tablet. Hana hesitated. "Maybe, sir. The Veldari ships are moving again." The Veldari were reptile-like aliens with scaly green skin and 4 arms. They had stayed neutral during the Craxus War. In recent years, they had been expanding their territory toward human space, particularly near the Centauri star system. "Show me," Junho said. Hana touched the tablet, bringing up a map of nearby space. Red dots showed Veldari ships moving toward Proxima Centauri, the star closest to Earth's sun. "Their movements seem purposeful," Hana said. "Not like regular trade or exploration patterns." Junho studied the map with narrowed eyes. "Have you informed Earth Command?" "Yes, sir. They say to watch but not act, unless the Veldari cross into our space." Junho nodded slowly. That was the typical response. Earth's government was careful not to appear aggressive. The warning they had issued 50 years ago was meant to deter attacks, not to threaten. "Keep tracking them," he ordered. "I want updates every hour." "Yes, sir," Hana said, taking back the tablet. As she walked away, Junho returned to the window. The stars looked peaceful, but he knew better. Space was vast and dangerous. Humanity had learned that lesson the hard way. 6 hours later, Junho sat in the command chair on the bridge of the Indomitable. Around him, 20 officers worked at various stations, monitoring ship systems, communications, and sensors. Lieutenant Do-Yoon Bayek, a young officer with eager eyes, suddenly straightened. At his sensor station, "Admiral," he called out, his voice tense. "Energy spikes detected near Proxima Centauri." Junho leaned forward. "What kind of energy spikes?" "Consistent with multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel," Do-Yoon reported. "Many ships, sir." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what this might mean. "Show me," Junho ordered. The main screen lit up with a tactical display. Near Proxima Centauri, dozens of red dots appeared suddenly. Ships, arriving from faster-than-light. "Jumps, are they Veldari?" Junho asked. "Checking signatures now," Do-Yoon said, fingers flying over his control panel. After a moment, he nodded. "Yes, sir. Veldari warships. At least 40 of them." Commander Minho Ryu, Junho's second-in-command, stepped closer to the screen. "They're heading directly for New Sol Colony," he said, pointing to the human settlement on a planet orbiting Proxima Centauri. New Sol was home to 3 million people. It was a thriving colony with farms, factories, and research centers. "Hail them," Junho ordered, "and alert Earth Command immediately." "Yes, sir," replied the communications officer. Minutes passed in tense silence. The red dots on the screen moved steadily toward New Seoul. No response to our hails, sir, the communications officer reported. Junho's stomach tightened. This was not good. Suddenly, the emergency quantum communicator activated with a loud beep. This special device allowed instant communication across vast distances, but it was only used in the most urgent situations. The main screen changed to show the face of Governor Sang-mi Lee of New Seoul Colony. Her office behind her was shaking. Alarms blared in the background. "This is Governor Lee," she shouted, her face pale with fear. "We are under attack. Veldari warships have appeared in our system without warning. They're launching weapons at us." A loud explosion sounded, and the governor was thrown from her chair. The screen went blank. "We've lost the connection, sir," the communications officer said quietly. Junho stood up, his face grim. "Battle stations," he ordered. "All hands prepare for combat. Set course for Proxima Centauri, maximum speed." Alarms sounded throughout the ship as the crew rushed to their battle positions. The Indomitable's engines roared to life, propelling the massive vessel toward the battle. "Send a message to all Earth forces in this sector," Junho continued. "The Veldari have attacked New Seoul Colony. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Minho approached Junho and spoke quietly. "Sir, even at maximum speed, we're 3 hours from Proxima Centauri." Junho nodded grimly. "I know, but we must try to help." As the ship accelerated, Junho's mind raced. 50 years of peace shattered in an instant. Why would the Veldari attack now? Did they think human defenses had weakened? Did they believe the warning was just empty words? The emergency communicator beeped again. This time, it showed Admiral Tae-woo Choi, the head of Earth Fleet Command. His face was stern. "Admiral Park, we've received your alert," he said. "Other colonies are reporting Veldari attacks as well. This appears to be a coordinated strike." Junho's hands gripped the arms of his chair. "Orders, sir?" "Defend our colonies. With all available force," Tae-woo replied. "But there's more. The Defense Council has convened. They've authorized activation of Protocol Sentinel." Junho's breath caught in his throat. Protocol Sentinel, the ultimate response. The fulfillment of the warning issued 50 years ago. "Understood, sir," he said quietly. As the connection ended, Junho turned to Minho. "Send one final message to the Veldari forces," he ordered. "What message, sir?" Minho asked. Junho's eyes were hard as steel. "The same one we sent 50 years ago. Attack Earth again and be annihilated. Add this. You were warned. You have 1 hour to retreat from all human space." Minho nodded and relayed the order to communications. As the Indomitable raced toward Proxima Centauri, Junho returned to the observation window. The stars still shone, cold and distant. Somewhere out there, people were dying. Human colonies were burning. Because once again, someone had not taken humanity's warning seriously. This time, they would learn. All the galaxy would learn. Earth's warning had not been a threat. It had been a promise, and now that promise would be kept. Deep beneath the rebuilt city of Seoul, 20 people sat around a large round table. This was Earth's Emergency Defense Council. The underground room had no windows. The walls showed large screens with images of burning human colonies. Defense. Minister Tae-woo Choi slammed his fist on the table. His face was red with anger. 20 million dead already, he shouted. 3 colonies hit in the first wave. We warned them. We warned all of them what would happen if they attacked us again. President Ji-hai Kang raised her hand for silence. Unlike Tae-woo, she remained calm, but her dark eyes showed a cold fury. She was 62 years old and had led Earth's government for 8 years. Her silver-streaked hair was pulled back in a tight bun. "Admiral Park's fleet is engaging the Veldari ships near Proxima Centauri," she said, "but they are outnumbered. Our other fleets are too far away to help quickly." "The Veldari picked their targets carefully," said General Dae Jung-oh, leader of Earth's ground forces. "They hit colonies where we have few military ships nearby." Hee Wan-bae, the foreign minister, looked troubled. "But why? Why would the Veldari attack now, after 50 years of peace? They know what happened to the Craxus when they attacked us. They think we're bluffing, said Dr. Jinwoo Yoon quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. Dr. Yoon was a small, thin man who looked older than his 70 years. He wore simple clothes, not a military uniform like many others in the room. But everyone knew who he was. For 30 years, he had led Earth's Advanced Weapons Division. The Veldari believe our warning was just empty words, Dr. Yoon continued. They think the Craxus lost because they were weak, not because we were strong. They've been watching us for decades looking for signs of our secret weapons. They found none, so they think our victory was luck. They're about to learn how wrong they are, Tae-woo growled. President Kang looked at Dr. Yoon. Has Protocol Sentinel been activated? Dr. Yoon nodded. Yes, Madam President. My daughter received the authorization code 30 minutes ago. 240,000 miles from Earth, deep beneath the lunar surface, Dr. Sun-hee Kang stood in a large control room. She was 45 years old with short black hair and her father's serious eyes. For 15 years, she had served as chief engineer of Project Sentinel. The lunar facility was one of Earth's most closely guarded secrets. Even most government officials didn't know it existed. The control room was filled with advanced computers and screens showing data from across the galaxy. Phase 1 activation complete, reported Technical Officer Han Bin Cho. All dormant units responding. Sun-hee nodded. She had hoped this day would never come. Project Sentinel had been created 50 years ago after the Craxus War. It was humanity's ultimate defense system and its most terrible weapon. Begin Phase 2 preparation, she ordered. Her team of 20 engineers moved with practiced efficiency, entering commands into their consoles. Sun-hee walked to the main display screen. It showed tiny dots of light spreading across a map of the galaxy. Each dot represented a Sentinel unit. During the 50 years of peace, automated factories hidden in distant asteroid belts had silently built thousands of von Neumann machines, robots that could make copies of themselves using materials they found in space. These machines had spread throughout the galaxy, hiding in asteroid fields beneath planetary surfaces and in the empty space between stars. They had remained dormant, waiting for the signal to wake up. That signal had now been sent. Sentinel. Units in Veldari territory coming online, Han Bin reported. All systems functioning normally. Sun-hee closed her eyes briefly. Millions of people were dying in the colonies. But what they were about to do in response, was it right? Her father had created Sentinel as a deterrent, hoping it would never be used. Now that it was activated, there was no turning back. Fleet. Command reports the Veldari have ignored our final warning, said Communications Officer Sumin Yu. The 1-hour deadline has passed. Sun-hee took a deep breath. Then we have no choice. Begin Phase 2. Admiral Junho Park stood on the bridge of the Indomitable as the ship shook from enemy fire. Through the view screen, he could see the battle raging around Proxima Centauri. It wasn't going well. 3 Earth ships had already been destroyed. The Veldari weapons were more advanced than intelligence had reported. Their ships were faster and their shields stronger. Sir, we've lost the Dauntless, reported Commander Minho Ryu, his face streaked with sweat. The Perseverance is heavily damaged and retreating. Junho's face was grim. Continue firing. We need to protect the colony evacuation ships. The Indomitable shook again as enemy fire hit its shields. Shields at 40%, reported Weapons Officer Yoon-ji Kwan. We can't take much more of this. Junho checked the time. The 1-hour warning to the Veldari had expired 5 minutes ago. Where was Sentinel? Suddenly, the battle changed. Every Veldari ship stopped firing. They drifted in space, their lights flickering. Sir, Minho called out. The Veldari ships are losing power. Junho watched in silence as the enemy vessels began to glow red. Their hulls seemed to be melting. What's happening to them? Yoon-ji asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Sentinel, Junho replied quietly. Phase 2 has begun. On the view screen, The Veldari ships were breaking apart, not from explosions, but from within, as if they were being eaten from the inside. Out Communications Officer Yunha Shin turned from her console, her eyes wide. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Veldari flagship." "Put it through," Junho ordered. The screen showed the Veldari Supreme Commander. Unlike humans, Veldari had scaly green skin and 4 arms. The commander's eyes were vertical slits. That showed fear. "What is happening?" the Veldari demanded. "What have you done to our ships?" "We warned you," Junho said simply. "Attack Earth again and be annihilated. You chose not to listen." "This is impossible," the Veldari shouted as alarms blared behind him. "No species has this kind of technology. You're violating Confederation laws of warfare." "We violated nothing," Junho replied. "We gave clear warning of the consequences 50 years ago and again today. You attacked our colonies without provocation, killing millions of innocent people." The Veldari commander's image began to break up as his ship's systems failed. "This isn't just happening here," Junho continued. "At this moment, every Veldari military ship, station, and base throughout the galaxy is experiencing the same fate. Your war is over." The transmission cut off. On the view screen, the Veldari flagship broke apart and disappeared in a flash of light. Minho turned to Junho, his face pale. "Sir, sensor reports are coming in from across the galaxy. All Veldari military assets are being consumed. Their entire war machine is disappearing." Junho nodded slowly. Phase 2 of Protocol. Sentinel was working exactly as designed. The nanomachines were disassembling the Veldari military piece by piece, molecule by molecule. "Send a message to Earth Command," he ordered. "Phase 2 successful. The threat has been neutralized." As the bridge crew continued their work, Junho looked out at the stars. The galaxy would soon learn what happened when someone ignored Earth's last warning. 3 days after the Veldari attack, President Ji Haikang stood in the orbital observation deck above Earth. Through the large windows, she could see her home planet, blue oceans, white clouds, and green and brown land masses. It looked peaceful. From up here, no one could tell that 20 million humans had just died in the colonies. Next to her stood Dr. Jin Woo Yoon and Defense Minister Tai Woo Choi. They were watching a large screen showing reports from across the galaxy. "Phase 2 is complete," Dr. Yoon said quietly. "Every Veldari military ship, weapon, and base has been neutralized." "Every single one?" President Kang asked. Dr. Yoon nodded. "The Sentinel units were thorough. Nothing larger than a hand weapon. Remains of their military capability." Taewoo's face showed satisfaction. "Good. They deserved it after what they did to our colonies." President Kang frowned. "We didn't do this for revenge, Minister Choi. We did it to protect our people." "What's the difference?" Taewoo asked. "Intent," Dr. Yoon replied. "Revenge seeks to hurt. Protection seeks to prevent harm. That's why the Sentinel units didn't target Veldari civilian areas. No Veldari homeworlds were attacked." The screen changed to show a Veldari city. Unlike human cities with tall buildings, Veldari cities spread outward with low dome-shaped structures. People, or rather Veldari, moved about normally. "Their civilians don't even know what happened yet," President Kang said. "Their government is hiding the truth." "They'll know soon enough," Taewoo said. "The Galactic Confederation has called an emergency meeting. Every spacefaring species will attend." President Kang turned away from the window. "Then we should prepare. Jinwoo, I need you to explain to the Confederation exactly what happened and why." Dr. Yoon looked troubled. "Madam President, there's something you should know. Phase 3 is ready." Taewoo and President Kang both stared at him. "Phase 3? Taewoo asked. "I thought there were only 2 phases." Dr. Yoon's old face looked tired. "There's a 3rd phase that only a few people know about. If the Veldari or anyone else attempts retaliation, the Sentinel units can do more than just neutralize military targets." President Kang's eyes widened. "You mean complete species extinction?" Dr. Yoon said flatly. "Every Veldari planet, and outpost wiped clean of life. It would take less than a day. Silence filled the room. That's genocide, President Kang finally said. Dr. Yoon nodded. Yes, that's why Phase 3 requires direct presidential authorization. It's the ultimate deterrent, the real meaning behind attack again and be annihilated. Not just military defeat, but extinction. Will we need it? Tae-woo asked. I hope not, Dr. Yoon replied. But the Veldari have powerful allies. They might seek revenge. President Kang walked back to the window and looked at Earth again. No Phase 3, she said firmly. Not unless there is absolutely no other option to save humanity. Yes, Madam President, Dr. Yoon said. On Luna Base, Dr. Sun-hee Kang sat, alone in her office. The past 3 days had been exhausting. Monitoring the Sentinel units as they carried out Phase 2 had required her constant attention. Now, it was done. The Veldari military no longer existed. Sun-hee opened her desk drawer and took out an old photo. It showed her as a young girl with her father, Dr. Jin Woo-yoon. They were standing in front of a lake, smiling. That was before he had created Sentinel, before he had placed this terrible burden on both of them. Her computer beeped with an incoming message. It was from her father. Phase 3 is ready, he had written. But the president has ordered it not to be used except as a last resort. I agree with her. The power to end an entire species should never be used lightly. Sun-hee put the photo away. Her father had created Sentinel after the Craxus War to ensure humanity would never face extinction. But he had always worried that the cure might be worse than the disease. The hardest part of having power, he had often told her, is knowing when not to use it. Sun-hee typed a reply. I understand. I've updated security protocols. Phase 3 now requires authorization from both the President and the Defense Council. It can't be activated by just one person. After sending the message, she looked at the main screen in her office. It showed the status of all Sentinel units across the galaxy. Thousands of green dots representing dormant units waiting for commands. With a few keystrokes, she could wipe out an entire species. Sun-hee shuddered at the thought. Admiral Jun-ho Park stood on the bridge of the Indomitable as it orbited New Sol Colony. Below, rescue teams worked to help survivors. Parts of the colony still burned from the Veldari attack. Damage report? Jun-ho asked Commander Minho Ryu. Half the colony's major cities are destroyed, Minho reported sadly. Estimated casualties: 8 million people. Jun-ho closed his eyes briefly. 8 million people. Gone. What about the other colonies that were attacked? He asked. Similar destruction, Minho said. Harmony Colony lost 6 million. Green Haven lost 5 million. Liberty Point was hit hardest. Almost everyone there died. Jun-ho's hands tightened into fists. 20 million dead across 4 colonies. Men, women, children. All killed without warning or mercy. The Veldari will pay for this, Minho said angrily. They already have, Jun-ho replied. Their entire military is gone. They've been reduced to a pre-spaceflight civilization. It will take them a century to rebuild what they lost. Is that enough? Minho asked. After what they did? Jun-ho thought carefully before answering. Vengeance is easy, Minho. Justice is harder. We've stopped them from killing more of our people. That was our goal. The communications officer called out, Admiral, incoming message from Earth Command. Put it through, Jun-ho ordered. The screen showed President Ji-hee Kang. Her face looked tired but determined. Admiral Park, she said. The Galactic Confederation has called an emergency meeting. All spacefaring species will attend. I want you to represent Earth, along with Dr. Jin Woo-yoon. Jun-ho was surprised. Me, Madam President? I'm a military officer, not a diplomat. Exactly, President Kang said. You were there when the Veldari attacked. You saw what they did. And you saw our response. The galaxy needs to understand both the attack and why we responded as we did. Jun-ho nodded slowly. Yes, Madam President. When is the meeting? 2 days from now, at Confederation headquarters, on Neutral Station. A ship is being prepared for you now. After the transmission ended, Junho turned to Minho. You have command of the fleet while I'm gone. Continue the rescue operations. Minho saluted. Yes, sir. Good luck at the meeting. Junho looked out at the damaged colony below. I'll need it. We've shown the galaxy what happens when someone attacks Earth after being warned. Now we need to explain why we had to do it. He thought about what he would say to the representatives of 100 alien species. How could he make them understand that humanity wanted peace, not war? That the Sentinel system existed to prevent attacks, not to threaten others? As Junho prepared to leave for the meeting, he knew one thing for certain. The galaxy had changed forever. Earth was no longer just another world. It was a power that could not be attacked without terrible consequences. The warning had been given. The lesson had been taught. Now it remained to be seen if the galaxy had learned it. Neutral Station hung in space like a giant metal flower. 5 huge petal-shaped sections spread out from a central hub. The station had been built by the Galactic Confederation as a meeting place for all spacefaring species. It orbited a star, with no planets, truly neutral territory. Admiral Junho Park stood at a window in the preparation room, looking out at the hundreds of ships docked at the station. Every known intelligent species had sent representatives to this emergency meeting. Nervous? Asked Dr. Jin Woo-yoon, who stood beside him. Junho nodded. Yes. I've faced enemy fleets in battle, but speaking to the Confederation seems more difficult, somehow. Jin Woo smiled slightly. That's because bullets and energy weapons are simple. Politics and diplomacy are more complex. A tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 eyes entered the room. This was Calix, the Confederation's chief mediator. The assembly is ready for you, Calix said in perfect human language. All 118 species are present. Junho took a deep breath. Then let's not keep them waiting. The assembly hall was enormous. It was shaped like a bowl, with row after row of seats rising up from the central speaking platform. Each seat held the representative of a different species from across the galaxy. Some looked almost human. Others were wildly different. Some had multiple limbs or eyes. Some floated in tanks of liquid, and some were just clouds of gas inside special containers. As Junho and Jinwoo walked to the central platform, they passed the Veldari representative. Unlike the other representatives who sat proudly, the Veldari seemed small and defeated. Calix, the blue-skinned mediator, spoke first. This emergency session of the Galactic Confederation Assembly will now begin. We are here to discuss the recent conflict between the Veldari Dominion and Earth. Admiral Junho Park of Earth will speak first. Junho stepped forward. A hush fell over the assembly. I represent Earth and humanity, he began. 5 days ago, Veldari forces attacked 4 human colonies without warning. 20 million innocent humans died. Murmurs spread through the assembly. We had given clear warning to all spacefaring species 50 years ago after the Craxus War. That warning was simple. Attack Earth again and be annihilated. Junho paused, looking around at the many alien faces watching him. The Veldari ignored that warning. They attacked our colonies, killed our people, and planned to take our territory. We responded exactly as we had promised we would. The Veldari military has been neutralized. Their ability to make war has been removed. The Veldari representative stood up angrily. What Earth did is against all Confederation laws of warfare. Their Sentinel machines violated our sovereignty. They destroyed our entire military in hours. After you killed 20 million of our people without warning, Junho replied calmly. After you ignored our final warning to withdraw within 1 hour, Calix raised a hand. Let us hear Earth's full explanation before debate begins. Junho nodded. I will now let Dr. Jin Woo-yoon explain exactly what happened and why. Jinwoo stepped forward. Though he was old and small, his voice was strong and clear. 50 years ago, after the Craxus War nearly destroyed humanity, We created the Sentinel system, he said. Self-replicating machines that could spread throughout the galaxy and remain dormant until needed. They had one purpose: to ensure that no species could ever again threaten humanity with extinction. Shocked whispers filled the hall. The Sentinel. Units activated when the Veldari attacked our colonies, Jinwoo continued. They targeted only military assets, ships, weapons, bases. No Veldari civilians were harmed, no planets were damaged. This was not revenge, it was protection. A representative from the Razil Empire, a species of reptilian aliens with long necks, spoke next. But how can we trust that these Sentinel machines won't be used against other species? How do we know they won't target civilian populations? In the future? Jinwoo looked directly at the Razil representative. Because if we wanted to destroy civilizations, we could have done so already. He pressed a button, and a holographic display appeared above the central platform. It showed thousands of tiny dots spread throughout a map of the galaxy. These are all the dormant Sentinel units currently in position, Jinwoo said. They are everywhere, in every system of every spacefaring species. What you saw the Veldari experience was less than 1% of the system's capability. Complete silence fell over the assembly. We could have destroyed the entire Veldari species, Jinwoo said quietly. Removed every trace of them from the galaxy. But we didn't. Because humanity does not seek dominion. We seek only peace and security. The Razil representative seemed stunned. You've had this power for 50 years and never used it until now? Yes, Jinwoo replied. The Sentinel system was designed as a deterrent, not a weapon of first strike. We hoped never to use it at all. An elder Morvalian, a species known for their wisdom, floated forward in his gravity chair. I remember when Earth issued its warning 50 years ago. Many thought it was just the empty threat of a frightened species. Now we know differently. The elder turned to the assembly. Earth could have conquered us all at any time. Instead, they lived peacefully, traded fairly, and asked only to be left alone. Even when attacked, they limited their response to military targets only. This shows admirable restraint. Junho stepped forward again. We come here today not to threaten but to clarify. The warning remains in effect. Attack Earth again and be annihilated. But we add this. We seek friendship with all peaceful species. We wish to trade, to learn, to grow together. We will never be the aggressors. He looked directly at the Veldari representative. The Veldari attacked us, and we defended ourselves. Now it is done. We seek no further action against the Veldari. People. We will even help them rebuild their society, but not their weapons of war. The Veldari representative looked down, unable to meet Junho's gaze. Calix, the mediator, spoke next. The Confederation must now decide how to respond to these revelations. Earth has power beyond what any of us imagined. Yet they used it with restraint, even when provoked. What shall we do with this knowledge? The elder Morvalian spoke again. I propose we offer Earth full membership in the Confederation, not just observer status. A species with such power should help guide our collective future. Murmurs of agreement spread through the assembly. Junho looked at Jinwoo in surprise. This was not what they had expected. Calix turned to them. What does Earth say to this proposal? Jinwoo stepped forward. Earth would be honored to join the Confederation as a full member, but we have a condition. What condition? Calix asked. That the Confederation adopt a new principle, Jinwoo said. The right of all species to exist without fear of extinction. No species should ever again face what humanity faced in the Craxus War, or what the Veldari nearly faced after attacking us. The galaxy should be a place of peace, not constant fear. The elder Morvalian nodded slowly. A worthy principle. I support it. One by one, other representatives stood to show their support. Even the Veldari representative eventually stood, although reluctantly. Calix looked around the assembly. Then it is decided. Earth will join the Confederation as a full member, and we adopt the principle of species preservation as our newest law. 6 months later, Admiral Junho Park stood on the observation deck of the new Confederation Embassy on Earth. Next to him stood Dr. Jin Woo-yoon and his daughter, Dr. Sun-hee Kang. "The rebuilding of the colonies is going well," Junho said. "New Seoul should be fully restored within a year." "And the Veldari?" Sun-hee asked. "They're adapting to their new status," Jinwoo replied. "Their civilian government has taken full control. They've even begun trading with other species again, though not in weapons, of course." Below them, in the embassy's main hall, representatives from 30 different species mingled with humans. It was a celebration of Earth's full membership in the Confederation. "Will we ever deactivate the Sentinel system?" Sun-hee asked quietly. Jinwoo looked at his daughter with understanding. "Not yet. Perhaps not in our lifetime. The galaxy needs time to adjust to the new reality." "And what is that reality?" Junho asked. Jinwoo smiled slightly. "That peace is not just possible, it's necessary. That no species has the right to threaten another with extinction, and that humanity, for all its youth and inexperience in galactic affairs, may have something valuable to teach older civilizations." Sun-hee looked out at the stars. A strange message to deliver through such a powerful weapon. "Sometimes," Junho said, "the most important messages need the loudest voice to be heard." As the three humans watched the celebration below, ships from across the galaxy moved in Earth's orbit, not as invaders or conquerors, but as visitors and friends. The warning remained in effect, but its purpose had evolved. It was no longer just Earth's protection, but a shield for all species who sought peace. Earth's last warning to the galaxy had been delivered, and finally, it had been understood.